Hi, this is Neil Walters with neilsvideos.com. Another video on TownStar, this game that I've been enjoying. And this is my NealTown4, so basically my fourth sustainable town that I've been building. This week is part of the May Mayhem. But this week they're telling you to make steel if you want to get extra points, and I already picked the ocean. I wanted to see what it was like to play the ocean, because up to now I've always been playing forest. And one thing that is just totally blowing me away is that these salt fields here, when you plant them right here by the ocean, they grow like in, I think it's 20 seconds or something. Whereas, if you put them over here or any other field, like in the forest, it takes them about 6 to 10 minutes to grow. So when you're next to the ocean, look how much brine I have here. Brine is what actually comes from the salt fields. And so now I think I could actually just have two of these. And you can see how full these two warehouses are with this brine. And there's even some in there. So, as I always say in all the videos, it's all a matter of balancing. Like once you get your products in here, you have to have the windmills to manufacture those products. And let me give you a few tips and strategies. I'm learning this game as I go, but I'm just willing to share with you what my thoughts are. So this time, what I've done differently is my road system, I'm getting a little more organized this time from the beginning, whereas in the past I just my roads were a little more windy even than this. And so like here I'm going to try to put two houses between these roads, and there could be a row of houses there, a row of houses here, and there's a road, and anyway there's some houses. And I start off with 3 barns because I like to get the milk products to be able to sell those, because the milk sells for quite a lot of money. And I'll show you where I'm at over here on my refinery. I did a separate video that tells you what it takes to build a refinery. Just to recap, you have to have a windmill, a constructor house, a warehouse to store the batteries and the water. This is your facility that makes the water. And then there's your refinery. So this thing here, putting it next to one water, it made the little guy that works for it go to the ponds and refill 3 times before it could actually get 1 barrel of water. But when you place it next to 2 lakes or 2 ponds, not just one, it seems to get the water from them. Now, my next phase is here I built the water plant, which I may have done a little water pump, which I may have done a little too soon because I want to build a power plant right here. I was hoping the water plant would actually give water to here, but I don't think it gives any more than the lake does. I was hoping that I wouldn't have to need the water facility, that it could just get all the water from these 2 items, because sometimes these things will help diagonally, but this one, I'm not so sure. So, where I'm at now, before I build the power plant, that's $100,000 first of all. But before you do that, you have to have lumber. So I'm planning to build a lumber mill and a lumber yard over here, and that'll cost me $50,000, I think, for the lumber yard, and I forget how much for the lumber mill. And then to keep refining my products, I'm going to basically build a row of windmills over here. So when I'm starting now, I'm trying to put my windmills pretty far apart. This one is too close to buildings, so it's slow. This one is maybe a little too close to that house, so it's not as fast as I want it. I think this one's in that orange range, but these 2 here, and they're pretty much in the, well, it's orange. I call it orange. It's like that light green. It's not the good green. So they're not as fast as I want. I think this one is my only green one that goes really, really fast. So by putting them far apart, at least at the beginning of the game, you get your refinery or your mills refining products a heck of a lot faster. Now, I don't know if this is different in this game, but it seems like my sugars are requiring more water. And I don't know if that's because I'm in the ocean, or if it's just because I forgot from the last game how much water they really need. So it seems like for the farmers not to have to pour water on the sugar, you need to be next to at least 3, if not 4 lakes. So 2 immediately next to, and then 2 that are like diagonal, and then at least 3, like I said, maybe 4. That will get your sugar plant watered here, sugar cane. You can see the timer on that salt. See, it's probably about 16 seconds, and boom, 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 the salt just keeps coming in. So that could be a quick product to make some pretty good money, at least as much money as flour, or about the same as flour. Click here and look. Salt is, yeah, it's actually 25,500, and whereas flour is only 22,500. I think salt takes a little bit longer to mill, and it actually may take 6 salts instead of 5 wheat. get that truck going. Some of my other videos, I've told you about timers. So lots of times I use, I won't say her name, but I'll show you in a minute. I'll say, like, Alexa, set timer for 3 minutes for refinery. I don't know if you could hear her say that, but she said she's starting the timer. So then that reminds me to turn it off and say when 3 minutes is up. Or I can say, you know, if there's a windmill that I need to switch from one product to the other, like say this one's running now, and I want to switch that, I could say, what's her name? Set timer for 15 seconds. Usually it's a little longer than that. Anyway, that would help you to remember then. And you can actually say set windmill timer, and she actually can repeat that back to you when the timer's up. So you can actually have 3 or 4 timers going. You could also just use a kitchen timer, an egg timer, or use a timer or chronometer thing on your smartphone. But to me, that's critical. Because sometimes I'll just walk away from this and let it run 3 or 4 minutes or 10 minutes, and then I'll just come back, sell my goods and stuff. Because right now I need to save up like 100,000, 150,000 to really get my lumber yard and my refinery over here. Because right now, without this, I didn't mean refinery, I meant power plant. Because right now I'm draining 6 batteries every time I need to make gasoline. When you have that refinery, when you have that power plant there, then you only need 3 batteries. And another neat idea might be to have 2 power plants on each side, but that may be a little extreme. In past games, I've often had 2 refineries, but I think my last time I played, I really only used 1 most of the time. You just still have to switch it back and forth between making petroleum and making gasoline. So you can make one for a while and then switch and make the other for a while. So I just want to actually build the cakes again in this game, because last time when I was making cakes, the salt was always my issue. I'd like to see how fast I can make them now where salt is not an issue. It's going to be like a totally different version of the game. And so anytime you need to bake cakes, I think you need to be by the ocean. I think I asked the other day if there's any disadvantages of the ocean. Okay, I did ask in the Discord the other day the disadvantages of ocean property, but they said there were maybe fewer pawns at the beginning. So when you sell your pawns at the beginning of the game, you can get 5,000 each for them. And that's how you get some good startup cash. I don't remember that there were very many fewer pawns than when I played in the forest. The only thing I may be worrying is that you might have to water, you might have to have more ponds now to water things. Maybe the ocean air dries things out or something. Because the same thing that maybe helps your salt grow faster may affect your other products, maybe in their watering or maybe in their growing time. That's just a kind of a guess. It's like you really almost have to write all this stuff down. Like how many waters does it take to make a sugar grow without having to water them, and then do it in the different regions or different terrains, and then see. So it's kind of like you have to develop a pretty good memory or have a good note-taking system for this. I've also noticed in this game, of course, the wheat is mostly going to feed the animals here. So they have to make feed in the feed mills to feed the cows so that they can make milk. So at the very beginning of the game, I was always short on wheat. And then only when I had a little bit more money, I added some more wheats over here and some more lakes to water them. So eventually this whole section here might be developed to wheat. And then this section will be maybe some more sugar, cane. And I don't think I'm going to need any more brine. I don't know what I'll put over here. Maybe more sugar, more wheat. And then I'm going to have a windmill row here, or 2, however that works out. I needed the 3 silos because basically they were all being filled up with that brine. So it looks like right now I need another windmill somewhere maybe over here to help refine the brine and the salt. But unfortunately, I think I'll have to put it here, but that's going to slow down one of my other windmills because I think they need to be at least 3 apart so they don't slow down each other. But I think this tall building is already having a wind effect on that windmill, and it will on these too. So there's just some point in the game where you can't put everything far apart. But I think, again, it gives you a good jump start to have them far apart at the very beginning of the game. Anyway, that's just some more tips for today on TownStar. It's a fun game. There'll be a link below my video. If you've never played it before, you can sign up and play. And by using that link, sometimes they'll throw in a free gift or an NFT for you. NFTs are non-fungible tokens. And there are other things sometimes you can add to your game to make it easier or better. My other website is Bitcoin Buffaloes. I'm slowly starting to develop that and talk more about that. I have some videos about some of the crypto investing and the coaches that I follow on my video channel. So it's Neal with nealsvideos.com and bitcoinbuffaloes.com. And I'll see you in the next video.